Alright, ladies and gents, what's going on here? Welcome back to another FIFA 22 news video. So today I'm going to be sharing with you people my reaction and my honest opinion on the FIFA 22 beta gameplay because, recently EA, I think esports have released like a couple of FIFA YouTubers playing against each other. For example, they were like very known FIFA gamers in the community. Now, before I get into my opinion on the FIFA 22 gameplay here, I'm also hoping that EA is going to release a demo like 2 or 3 weeks before the game launch because, as you people know, in the past FIFAs, EA would always release demos, but for some reason for last year they haven't released a demo. So I would love to see EA release a demo because obviously it's that time of the year again where everybody's getting excited for FIFA 22. People want to see how the gameplay is going to look like, how the impressions are going to be like compared to the last year's FIFA and all the past FIFAs. As for the demo speculation, so far I've been doing my research all over the internet, all over Google, and unfortunately I have not been able to find any news that's going to confirm that EA is going to be releasing the FIFA 22 demo because, if EA does confirm it, then I would make a video about it. Now, when it comes to other people's impressions of the FIFA 22 gameplay so far, I've noticed that everybody's having a mixed reaction to it, so I'm assuming that it's going to be like 50-50, that some people are going to have a negative reaction to it and some people are going to have a very positive reaction to it. So now I'm going to be sharing my opinion on the gameplay here, so let's get into it, shall we? So the first thing I want to cover here is the passing, because after watching the passing has absolutely looked very effective in FIFA 22 so far in the gameplay that EA have released on their esports channel. And when it comes to the passing, the game, what I've noticed is that you can do very quick lob passes from like one wing side of the pitch to the other wing side of the pitch. Basically, it seems like this year that in FIFA 22 you can get rid of the ball much quicker. For example, when your player is being pressured by a defender or a midfield to try and cough up possession, you can just quickly do a lob to a player that's going to be available in space, and I think that's going to be very effective in FIFA just because I think that's going to be able to improve the passing game by a lot. And I think that by simply making the passing more smoothing and more realistic, then it's going to give off a better impression for gamers whenever they play, for example, FIFA Ultimate Team, or if they play career mode and they want to do like quick passes to try and throw off their opponent's defense. I think that this feature is going to absolutely improve the gameplay. I have to say probably by at least 100%. In other words, I think that this is going to make passing a whole lot easier because the biggest area of hope that I have for whenever EA releases a new FIFA game is that the passing is going to be very smooth and effective. As for the low-driven crosses, what I've also noticed about the low-driven crosses is that they look completely smooth, so I think that low-driven crosses this year are going to be very effective in FIFA. As for my final verdict on the passing, I'll give the passing a 10 out of 10. Now, this time we are going to be talking about the skill moves because what I've noticed also in the FIFA 22 beta gameplay reveal that, the two YouTubers were playing against each other is that they were heavily using skill moves as well. Now, in terms of skill moves, what I've noticed about the gamers is that they were heavily using skill moves against each other, so I can imagine that FIFA Ultimate Team is also going to be heavily dominated by skill moves as well. Now, what I've noticed about the running motion in the beta reveal is that players like Mbappe are extremely fast, and I can imagine that it's probably going to take only players like Van Dijk to be able to stop Mbappe whenever you play against him in FIFA Ultimate Team. Because besides players like Van Dijk, I think it's going to be very impossible to name another defender that's going to be capable of stopping Mbappe whenever you play against him in FIFA Ultimate Team Champs because, Mbappe, man, he's arguably, I think, the fastest player in FIFA. Now, as for FUT Champs, I can imagine that probably like 80% of the FIFA player base is going to have Van Dijk in their squad. However, you can also make the case here that defenders like Vidic, for example, in their prime, or any other legend defenders can maybe stop Mbappe whenever you play against him. Now, if you compare the running motion with FIFA 21 and with FIFA 22, what I've noticed in the beta is that the running motion looks way different. But as for whether the running motion is going to be an upgrade, it's hard to tell, so I'm going to probably have to wait until the game comes out to honestly give my opinion on that feature. But let's just say so far that the running motion looks way better, but remember, this is the beta. And one thing that I also want to talk about is the defender battle, because what I've noticed in the beta reveal is that Mbappe was able to beat Ramos in the air and get the ball from a lob. So I think that might be one way to open up your opponent's defense this year in FIFA 22 is just by doing over-the-top lobs to Mbappe. So like always in FIFA, I think that pace is going to be a very big factor in this game. But one thing that really stood out to me in the beta reveal was just the crazy finesse shots, because what I've noticed from the gamers that were going against each other is that they were able to do finesse shots from like 20-25 meters out. But obviously EA have released a statement saying that they patched that thing. But even despite that, I still believe that there's going to be a lot of finesse shots attempted from 20-25 meters out with players like Mbappe, Ronaldo, or Bruno Fernandes, or Kevin De Bruyne. And one other thing that I'm also curious about FIFA this year is that whether headers are going to be effective or not. So this is my overall impression of the FIFA 22 beta. So if I have to give this a rating here, I will give this an 8 out of 10 here just because I really like some of the additions that EA have added. For example, is that the ball passing and then the player running motion. But at the end of the day, I would really love it if EA could release a free-to-play demo. So anyways, ladies and gents, hope you enjoyed this video and let me know what is your opinion of the FIFA 22 beta. I'd love to hear it in the comment section below, and make sure to leave a like, drop a comment, subscribe to the channel, and have a good one.